glad y'all are here. We would have probably run right on through the service without you. But then probably the person that needs this the most wouldn't have even been here to enjoy it. Well, I'm glad you're here. Got us in a wonderful place to stay, and Brother Jeff brought us by a basket full of stuff. Wished I could have seen it as soon as he bought it. I ain't convinced he didn't take some of it out on the way over to the room. But, hallelujah. Just wonderful. We're glad that we could make our way out here. You're going to love my preaching. Oh, yeah, you're going to. If I was at home, well, I am at home. Hallelujah. I feel at home. I'm not a voting member here yet, but, if you'll bring something up, I'll give you my opinion. Right quick. Hallelujah. I want to read something to you. I'm not even going to tell you where, because then you'd probably read 3 verses ahead of it and 4 behind it, and you'd miss the whole deal. So I just want to tell you this. Lord, all of my desire is before thee. How's that grab you? Lord, all of my desire is before thee. I have a .327 Magnum Smith & Wesson. If that sounds like a little odd caliber to you, it's because it is. It's a hard little gun to find, and it shoots a very, very hard little bullet to find, especially when everybody is soaking up every bullet that you could possibly find. I think we've gone on a national bullet craze. But my brother-in-law called me and said, I'm down at Cabela's down here in Fort Worth, big place. I said, they got any .327? He said, 2 boxes. I said, I'll take them. He said, they're $29.95 a box. And I said, I'll buy one and you buy one for me. And he said, no, but he said, the way they're lined up here. And I said to myself, there is no way if the Iranians landed up in New York and came down the interstate toward these Ozarks, that them 2 boxes of ammo would ever be worth over 6. I said, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I said, get them. The reason I told him to get them was I desired them. And the reason I desired them is they're rare, hard to find, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So I'm going to take it right now while I can lay my hand on it. Because it may not be easier to get it tomorrow or the next day or the next day. My desire is before thee. You know what I told my church? I'll tell you this. okay. Let me tell you what. Brother Barnett's going to be here. He'll preach it out. He'll cover it. But you know what I told my church? I told them years and years ago that if ever I sense a waning of desire, I'll be thinking about resigning. I told them that years and years and years ago. If I just feel I have lived too long, preached too hard, traveled too much, and been through too many things to allow desire to wane on the vine and pull me into that very same place that everybody else is in. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get better in the morning. And it doesn't mean it's going to get better tomorrow night. Or it's going to get better Tuesday. Or it's going to get better Tuesday night. What really matters is how much. You know, me and my wife, we were in Oklahoma. Was it this? Yeah. We were in Oklahoma. Whenever we were in Oklahoma this week. If this is Sunday. Is this Sunday? Okay, we was in Oklahoma Monday and Tuesday when more Oklahoma was no more. No more. We were out there in Oklahoma, and we was down to Tallahena at the Indian hospital down there, and while we were down there, you know, storms come up, people was on everybody's mind, everybody was just really, you know. And my wife, they pointed out to us where the storm shelter was at that we could run to. It's 50 yards away. I mean, I told her with my asthma, I'll be dead before I get there anyway. You run on, I'll just fly overhead when it comes by. But they were showing all those things, you know, and when we come back in, my wife said the girls got in this little hospitality place where we was at. She said they got flashlights all out there across the counter, and I said, I got 4 with me. I got 1 with me tonight. Really, right here in my pocket. You never know when you'll need a flashlight. Okay. It ain't your desire to have one. It's my desire to have one. And if the lights go out after a while, you'll really desire to have one. And they were laying across there, and I'm not going to tell you how many guns I had with me. But I am going to tell you this one thing right here. We were out there, and it was bad. But I want to guarantee you that there were parents that were told, you can't go up to the grade school right now. I guarantee you there were parents that were told, you'll have to wait back here, who did not wait. I guarantee it. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you this. When they saw life, and they knew it was their life, you did not have to say, hug that child, pick up that child, kiss that child, wipe the dust and the mud and the muck off of that child. They didn't have to tell them parents to do that. No, they didn't have to. I mean, that desire was in them before they ever stopped the vehicle and climbed out and ran toward where that little school was at. Now, don't everybody jump up and shout at once. I'm telling you, if there is ever an ebbing in the desire in your life to get more of God, I'll have to resign your case. If there is ever an ebbing in the life, I'm telling you, they pushed in there and they fought in there because there was a desire inside of those folks to do whatever I have to do to get in there to where my child is at. And some of them walked away without their babies. You hear me? Some of them walked away without their babies. They still had that desire was in there that child would still be alive, but something had died. I'm just going to tell you this. In this service right here, already tonight, right here in this place, last night, the Lord, I jotted down some things, and even tonight, just before church. But I tell you, I'm so aware of the fact that one of the greatest things that's a balling our church over and a shoving us into the background of revival is we just don't want to pay the price of what it's really worth to get a hold of it. But my desire is ever before thee. That's where my desire is at. Now listen, I desired to get to Oklahoma. I desired to get out there where, we went out there knowing that the storms were waiting on us. But it was our desire to get out there and get that took care of. Because we had to get out here to get this took care of. So we can get back home and get our church took care of. So we can get to Oklahoma and get them. My desire is ever before thee. And I know that we're a little laid back tonight, a little quiet. You have heard some tremendous stuff up here on this platform. I'm telling you, that one guy up there, he is dangerous with his brain turned on. He come out that poem, that it was great. It was great. It was wonderful. Quoting that Bible, I felt like I was around the Martin family. You know them? But I just felt like I was around the Martin family all rolled up into one. It was wonderful. And the exuberance of youth and the singing of the choir and everything that's been done took care. Wouldn't it be a shame to not even desire for the Lord to help me, even if I've already gone through all of what we've gone through, to have, wouldn't it be awful? Wouldn't it be tough to actually think that we'd rather hear somebody behind the pulpit or even turn it over to Brother Charles Barnett of a day than to have God come through here and to heal somebody's body and save somebody's soul? That my desire is ever before thee. My heart, my heartbeat, my want to, them little boys that cut out down that center aisle that you see cut out down that center aisle about every time they get a chance. If you're not careful, it'll run through your mind that them little, I tell you what, they desire, they're just looking for an opportunity to run. Yeah, they're just looking for, and you know, I'm just looking for an opportunity to let them. Because if we don't have the desire for the power of God in here, they'll find it on a ball field. They'll find it with a ball bat. They'll find it out playing football. They'll find it dating somebody that ain't even Pentecostal. They'll find it. Are you listening to me? I'm telling you, my desire is ever before. The other day, we was at, this happened, true story. The other day, we was at the house, and my wife had been having some troubles, not severe trouble, but just some pain and severe trouble. And I told her, I said, honey, Dr. Martin, it's the guy I go to. I have to make his Mercedes payments. I said, Dr. Martin, he gave me a little green pill. He said it's good for hurting in your shoulder and just wherever you're hurting. I'll be selling some as soon as service is out if you'll see me by the car. But I made a real good deal with a guy up in New York. But listen, she was hurting. So I said, try one of these. Try one. You know, she's lived around me for all of these years. She trusted me. And she took it. And I went out doing my merry thing in the yard. And when I come back around the corner into the garage, she was standing over there by one of her cabinets there in the garage, and she was acting really funny. Now, I'm telling you, she was acting funny. And, I mean, she's normal 90% of the time, and I act this way all the time. I'm only normal when I'm really sick. But she was acting funny. So I walked over to her, and I said, are you all right? And she said, I don't think so. And I said, well, let's go in the house. You listen. I come back in the house and took her over there to the couch, and I went about doing something else. And when I come back in there this time, she was laying funny on the couch, and her mouth, and I said, are you all right? And she said, I can't swallow. She was having a terrible reaction. Terrible. It looked like a stroke to me. I mean, so I started crying. I mean, I started crying. And she managed to tell me that there's a medicine book. And I went and looked it up, and one of the side effects was your throat closes. You can't breathe. You get, it's terrible. So I jumped up and went over to her, and I said, I'll take you to the hospital. I mean, it was bad. I said, I'm going to take you to the hospital. And this ran through my mind. We just had buried Brother Robert Aborn. Brother Robert Aborn was an old-fashioned Holiness, Holy Ghost preacher who prayed the prayer of faith. At our house, when anything happened, the first thing out of your mouth was, call Brother Robert. It's the first thing out of your mouth. When I walked up there to her, it run through my mind. He's gone now. I just buried him. And the same thing ran through her mind. We've just buried Brother Robert. So that first choice number one, that was our desire. Choice number one is call Brother Robert. But I buried him. So I looked down and I laid my hands on her. And she couldn't talk. She could just tears. I had one desire and one desire only. And that was for God to come into that room at that present moment. I didn't want to raise at the church. I didn't want to schedule another revival. I wasn't interested in another meeting. I didn't care if Giovanni's was going to be opened or closed. I didn't care. I didn't care if McDonald's was giving away free whatever they were giving away. I didn't care. I didn't care that I was out of buttermilk in the refrigerator. I didn't care about anything. I had one desire, and that was for God to come into that room and help me right there, because I didn't have anybody else to call on. And I removed my hand from her, and in that great man of faith style, I looked at her and I said, let me help you get up. I mean, we prayed for her. Now let me help you get up. Let's go get in the car, and I'll take you over to the emergency room. And she said, it's reversing. And just slowly, her face came back into shape. And her tongue and her throat, slowly, until just in probably 30 minutes time. 30 minutes time. God. Now I'm going to tell you something. If I thought in 30 minutes time I could be in a service like this and have a desire like that, and God changed something for me that I didn't have to go home like I came, I wouldn't sit back there another 5 minutes. If I had a desire like that, if I could find some kind of desire like that somebody in this house right now could get up out of their seat, snatch their married companion by the hand, walk up to this front and say, God, we need something done in our house, and ain't nobody else to call. I wouldn't sit there another 5 minutes. I wouldn't sit through another choir song. I wouldn't sit through another offering. I sure wouldn't sit through an opportunity. And all you gotta have is desire. That's all you gotta have. That's all you gotta have. I desire God. I desire God to come on me right now by His power. All you gotta do is feel that way and come to the throne room of grace and find help in the time of your need. That's all you got to do. Well, I came tonight to hear you take a text. I ain't got a desire to take a text. My desire is before Thee. That's my desire. Well, I come tonight, I want you to play your horn. It's out in the car. I couldn't get it out of the trunk. And I'll tell you about it later. But I'm going to tell you right here and right now, it's not my desire to play the horn. It's not even my desire to open my Bible and see what the name of my message was going to be. Let me tell you what my desire is. My desire is for you to want something tonight as bad as I wanted it when I thought my wife was having a stroke. I tell you what, I'd like for you to get a desire, such a desire burning on the inside of you in this service right now, as if your child was at the bottom of some gymnasium that had just caved in around them, and you're coming out of there for your little family. You're coming out of there for I'm telling you, you gotta have that kind of desire. It's not gonna walk down the aisle, tap you on the shoulder, and ask for your order. You gotta just lean back and say, I got something that I need done in my life, and I'm not getting it taken care of anywhere else. My desire is before thee. Now, the kind of meeting we're going to have a Brother Prescott morning service where we just sat with our mouths open and can't believe somebody can preach like that. And then we're going to have a Brother Barnett service. And the next day we're going to have a Brother Savage service. And the next day, that's the kind of meeting we're going to have. Or we're going to come into this house. We're going to tell God, my desire is before you. And any way you decide to fix it is all right with me. But I will not sit back. I will not lay back. I will not hold back. I will not wait. Not when God is in the house to do something. So, I'm coming down to the end of my no message. I'm coming down to the end of my not preaching. I'm going to tell you, Brother Robert is gone, and I only had one source. My desire is before thee. And you could have knocked me over with a feather when I heard my wife say, it's reversing. I felt like Benny Hinn. I mean, get me a bus and a coliseum. I got oil dripping from my fingers. The truth of the matter was, I was humbled. And I was still crying that God would meet my desire in such a wonderful way. And if He'll do it for me, He'll do it for you right now. 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 He'll do it right now. Right now. Well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. What do you desire to do at this very moment? Well, truthfully, I desire to all be stand and be dismissed. That's a coming. You're going to get your desire. I really wanted to get to McDonald's before they shut down because I love their sweet tea. You'll get your desire. But if your desire is before the Lord tonight and you need salvation or you need sanctification or you're as backslid as a blue tick coonhound, or you're a young person that's got a double standard and a double life, and you're doing things that eat you alive morally all day long, and try to come and hide behind the curtain of the house of God of a night. I'm telling you, there's a God. Been here all night. Anointing them boys on the platform all night. And all He's looking for is for Jesus looked at Jerusalem. Looked at them. The Bible said He cried. You know why? Because He was standing there with their answer to whatever they need. And they didn't desire. They didn't desire it. Now, Father, I'm done. I'm telling you, if I drove all the way to Virginia for this one night and something tragic happens back home and I have to turn my buggy around and head back to the Ozarks, my trip was not in vain. And I did not waste more of me and my wife's life out on the road. It wasn't in vain because my desire is before thee. Churches, revivals, camp meetings, youth camps. Oh God, I'm not doing this for to compete with a pay scale. My desire is before thee. And in this room right here, some backslider sitting in this service that's been detached all night because they didn't feel part of the flock. How bad would they like to get reconnected? How bad would they like to get reconnected? How bad would they like to get in an altar and see God do something for their family before they forever lose their precious children to the ways of the world and the bright lights of downtown? Oh God. Their heads are bowed. Nobody's looking around. Now, these young fellers up here, I'm telling you, if me and Brother Randy, if either one of us tried to get in any of them conditions that them boys got in up here, we'd have to have help to our vehicles. Oh, yeah. But I'm going to tell you this. There is nobody in this room has to get up and walk out of this church like you came if you don't want to. You hear me? If you don't want to. And there's even something in the mind of God that He can change your want to. So this is how we're going to do it. Heads are bowed and nobody's looking around. And we're at the end of a whatever three-part testimony little service here, without the night speaker even taking a legible text out of the Bible, that somebody sitting in this church house can get up right now, slide out into an aisle right now, bring themselves, I'm waiting, slide out of an aisle right now, bring themselves down to the front, put themselves in an old-fashioned mountain altar, and allow God to change everything in their life that's causing them so much distress. I'm not going to stand up here all night. I'm not. I appreciate your desire to be in church. I appreciate your desire to give in the offering, to help the church, buy the motel rooms, and take care of out-of-town guests. We have meetings. I know. I appreciate that. I appreciate those of you that have worked so many days and got so much stuff clean and done that you came into the meeting almost too tired to even enjoy it. Sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I? But I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you're fixing to set the tone of this meeting. Not the visitors, not the other churches coming in. Oh, no. They're coming just for the fellowship part. You're fixing to set the tone of this meeting right now of how bad you really want God to do something in your life, home, family, job. I can't even go down all the lists. So my wife's a plan. And this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody right here, right now, that does not want to go home like you came. And you're going to slide out of that seat. And you're going to slide down this altar. And you're going to throw yourself on the mercies of God. Even if you know there'll be folks that want an explanation of why you even come out and did what you done. But there's something in there that needs to be fixed. And I'm telling you, I didn't want anything but my wife to be healed. I didn't want anything but my wife to be healed. At that moment, my cars were for sale. My house was for sale. My guns was for sale. At that moment, my library was for sale. At that moment, I had one desire, and that was for God to come down and reverse the terrible thing that had transpired. And that's my desire for somebody in this room. And the only rub is you got to have the same desire for Him to do it. Last call. Is there anybody in this house that would like to start this meeting off this year in a revival mode where you have thrown yourself in this altar and told God, I don't want to leave tonight until my desire is before Thee? Going once? You going to call us around, pray anyway, brother? You never know. Going twice? Going twice? What are you just going to, but probably you're going to, hey, you just never know. Just never know. I may let some backsliders leave tonight making their own choices, not good ones. And I may allow some, oh yeah, this is what I'd do tonight. This is what I would do if I was you. If I wanted to feel the power of God and have one of the greatest meetings right here in this church. I'm talking about a fellowship meeting that the day services are punctuated with thus saith the word of the Lord, and the night services are moved on by the Holy Ghost until even in the song service there's a drawing power of the glory of God.